Hello, Austin here. Today I'm going to show you how I installed the GX460 CarPlay screen. So if you have a pre-2022 GX460, it's not going to come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So if you want one of those features, you kind of have to install an aftermarket setup. So I'm going to show you mine today. I've used it for about the last 3 weeks, and I find it to be, I like the maps a little bit better. The main reason why I installed it was to have a front camera hooked up to the screen. So most people buy a Lexus or a GX460 for the reliability, but I'll show you today how to install the extra screen on your Lexus so you can get CarPlay with it. So here's the interior setup. I decided to hardwire and install all the extra features onto this screen. That way I didn't have to pull out this center console later on. So I have a mic that's installed. You can see that there. The Lexus mic is up there, but for the screen mic, obviously the screen's there. I decided to put this mic here. There's no wires or anything like that, which is nice. Car's a little bit dirty, so sorry about that. I also hooked it up to, you can see right there. So this is the auxiliary input for the sound. So that way the sound sounds a lot better. That way you're not hooking it up to the FM or playing the sound from the speaker out of the back. I also have a USB to phone input here, and they're all coming through that grommet there. So it looks good, but this is a 6-foot cord. This pulls out quite a bit. And sorry, there's a jack. And this is a 3-foot cord. Make sure that you get a 90-degree input here. That way you can close that console while it's still plugged in. If you don't have the auxiliary input for the sound, it's just going to sound like garbage. So I have the auxiliary input in, I have the microphone input, I have the hardwired power. So a lot of the inputs for the power, you just have a screen coming down through here into the battery or the cigarette lighter there. So I didn't want a cord hanging down, so I just decided to put it into tap it into a fuse. And then I have a few other inputs here. Let me look real quick. So I have, the USB, the power, the microphone, and then the camera in. So I have the camera button here. So this is the camera for the front, and then LED, and then all this stuff is standard. So you can play the music or talk on the phone either through your unit here, or you can do it through your GX. So you just control that on your phone when you're playing the music or when you're taking a phone call. If you want to play, and this is what I've been doing, I play my music and my podcasts and audiobooks through this. So I'll just, on this, I just select auxiliary input for the sound, and then it just goes through the cord and then it sets up like this. We'll go ahead and start it. The new unit almost always starts up before the other one. We'll see here the startup time. And it's kind of like the LX600, where they have 2 screens. One's for CarPlay and entertainment, whereas the other one you can use it just for, see, it just hooked up to CarPlay right now, and then you'll see here in a second it's going to hook up to, there you go, phone connected to the GX unit. So about 5 seconds before. And if you want to go hands-free, you can activate your Siri. I like to just press a button for Siri if I'm going to use it. I don't like it to be listened to me all the time, just because it's one more thing that's listening to you on your phone. So you can just do that with Siri. Directions to Navarre Beach. And then it'll take you just like that. So yeah, it's a good little unit, and it's not going to slow down your GX model because they're separate. So it's just regular Apple CarPlay. You just it's on the maps right now. The screen's really receptive. You can just try around, just mess around with it. I've been doing it for like the last 3 weeks or so, and it's been real good so far. So you can go back to your home screen like that. This is another home screen here for the whole car, and then obviously Android Auto, and then these are the settings for the unit itself. I recommend doing the loud there, just because it's a little bit quiet once you link it up to your car. and then it's just Apple CarPlay as normal. So like I said, one of the reasons why I hooked it up was for the front camera here. And so the front camera, it's a latching switch. So once you press the switch, you can see the front camera or what's in front of it. So I'll press it now, and it's just automatic. So you can see there, it just comes up, and that you can see what you're about to roll into, and if you're how far away from the bumper you are from things. So so far I like it. It's you know, pretty inexpensive, and it looks clean. There's no wires hanging around or anything like that. And then I'll show you how I installed it here in a second. And then I also forgot to mention, so some of the inputs here work with this system here. So if you're doing the music or podcast through the auxiliary input, you can control the sound and stuff like this off your steering wheel. If you want to go hands-free, this is not going to work with that. You just have to press the button on your phone or just say, "Hey Siri," and then it'll come up. So this is what it looks like with all the panels removed. So you need to remove these panels here, the side panels here, side panel here, this panel here, this panel here, this panel here, and then these front panels here. There's a GX Bob has 2 videos on that. I'll post them in the description on how to do those. And so what I did is I carved out this spot here for the wires to run. So this is the USB. So this is the USB to phone. This is the power button. The second one, the third one is the audio button or the audio cord, which goes into the auxiliary of the GX. This one is either the microphone and then the camera in. So I ran them all through here. 2 of them are coming out through here. This is the audio in, and then the phone plug in, the USB, and I'm going to put them through this grommet here. That way I can access them via the glove, the little compartment in the center console. The other 3 wires, they're coming through here. So this one is the microphone. If you want to have a hardwired microphone, I'm going to put it in just like that. That way you don't see any wires. You can continue to use the GX microphone, or you can use the CarPlay microphone. And then the other 2 wires are just running. I'm not sure if you can see it, but they're just running along here, those 2 wires. So one wire is the camera wire, and the other wire is the electrical power for the whole unit. So this is the relay and the switch right here. So I elected to go with, if I can find it, so this switch here for the reverse cameras, it's actually the front camera. Typically for reverse cameras, once you put it in reverse, that's what powers the supply to the wire or to the unit, and then it turns on. But this one, you're gonna have to press this button to turn on the front camera. It's a latching switch, so presses in, presses out. And to connect it to the relay, let me just show it to you real quick. All right, so there are 4 wires, a red, green, and a red, black. So this is a normal 5-pin relay here. 86 is white, 86 is black. There's black, so black on the other side. 85 is the white, 30 is the blue, and then 87 is the yellow. So I connected, so this pin here, so there's a red that's closest to the green and a red that's closest to the black. I connected the red that is closest to the green to the blue of the relay. I connected the green and the red that is closest to the black to the black of the relay. I connected the red from the camera. So the camera wire for the power supply for the camera has a red and a black. I connected the red, which is a power supply from the camera, to the yellow of the relay, and I connected the black of the camera to the black of the latching switch right here, and then the white of the relay. And then the power supply it goes into, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it goes into the fuse box, and I elected to do the cooling number. It's normally 10 fuse, but I just did a wire or a fuse tap, put that in, and then because I don't use the cooling box, and then it's not plugged in right now, but the red and blue, so the red that is closest to the green of the pin goes to the blue, and that plugs into the red from the wire switch, from the wire that's going from the fuse to the camera itself. So this is a power supply to the camera right here, this red and black. And the black, which is grounded, right there, this is a ground for the camera supply, which I obviously put into this ground bolt here. That connects to the white from the relay, the black from the pin, and the black from the camera. That plugs into the black wire from the ground of the power supply for the whole camera. And then so that way, once you press the button, the camera will turn on and then when you press the button again, the camera will turn off, and that's for the camera for the CarPlay unit. So that's the whole setup. It's not that bad, and you just want to make sure for these two wires here, the auxiliary in and the USB to phone, you want to make sure they're under this bar, or else these wires will get pinched and you can't actually put in this center unit here. So good luck.